everybody, welcome back to B-Boss Kitchen, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I was getting ready to edit my video for canning tomatoes when I discovered that my intro had no audio. And so rather than trying to do a speakover, I have decided to reshoot the intro part of my video. So I wanted to tell you that when you are canning tomatoes, you want to make sure that your tomatoes have no spoiled places on them. Just like this tomato here, you can see it has this spot that is decaying. Now, unless you get all of this removed out of your tomato, your whole batch that you're canning will go bad. So, if you're not sure about getting all of the spoiled out of it, discard it. Don't even use it. Don't chance it. You want your tomatoes to have your stems all removed. You want them to look like this so that they have nothing of any sort on them. This is a really nice tomato here. It has no bruising. It has no spoiled places, and the stem of it is gone. So make sure you remove all the stems. Wash your tomatoes before you blanch them. Now when I say blanch, what I do is I take a large canning pot and I fill it with water about so far from the top, and I bring it to boiling, and then I take probably 12 or 15 tomatoes. I put them in an old pillowcase. You can put them directly in the water. I did do some of those that way. But you just dip them in, leave them, watch them. When the skin starts to burst open on the tomatoes, take them out immediately. Have a sink full of cold water. Take your tomatoes, dump them back into the cold water in the sink so that they'll stop the cooking process. And then you can just slip the skin off of these tomatoes and cut them up and get them ready to cook. It makes it much easier than peeling them by hand. But the only thing is, you want to make sure that there's no rotten places on those tomatoes, because I'm telling you, a small rotten spot will spoil the whole batch. So, with that being said, now I'm going to continue on with the rest of my video, and I hope that this will help you and be informative, and that if you're interested in canning, you'll be able to put you up some tomatoes too. So let's get started. Okay, I have my water hot, and so I'm going to submerge some of my tomatoes. I have them in this pillowcase, and I'm just going to set them down in this water just for a couple of minutes. You can watch, because when the peelings start to split, that's when you want to take them up. You don't want to cook them. You just want to blanch them, scald them so that the peelings will come off. Let me see if I can get my camera so that you can see what I'm talking about. Now when I take these up, I'm going to put them in cold water. That will stop the cooking process. I had turned my water down because it was boiling and I wasn't quite ready for it. So when they get ready to take up, I'll just lift them up, pillowcase and all, and carry them over to the sink. See this one? You see how the peeling is splitting? That's what you want. And then those peelings will just slip right off. And that really simplifies your task. Okay, you can see this one also is doing the same thing. See that? And this one. So I'm going to go ahead and take these up. I have a pan that I'm going to set my pillowcase in because it will be dripping. And I'm going to carry this over to the cold water. Okay, I have my water drawn. So I'm just going to dump these into the cold water to stop the process. I'm going to leave them in this cold water until I get some more of them blanched and ready to go with them. So I'll continue this process and then I'll be back. Okay, my tomatoes, I've gotten all of them blanched. I've got them cooling now in cold water. And this pan I have taken up, and I'm going to go ahead and start peeling them. And I just want to show you, see how easy this is? The skin just slips off. And then all I have to do is cut them up and put them in a pot and cook them. So I'm going to move my camera over so that you can see how I do this. And we're going to get these tomatoes cooking and get them in jars. Okay, let me say, first of all, you want a heavy, heavy pot to cook your tomatoes in. This is actually a canning pressure pot, but I'm just going to cook my tomatoes in this. So I just wanted to show you that. But once you've peeled your tomatoes, just cut them. You want to cut the core out. And chop them like so. These will cook down, so you don't have to worry about that. You won't have to worry about cutting them really little. Actually, what I'm going to do is take and cut my core out like this. This is the way I normally do it. I don't know what I was thinking. And then just slip the skin off. It just peels right off. Then I'm going to cut it up into my pot. And it doesn't have to have a certain way to be cut. Not the way I do it. I liked mine. I don't like them chunky. If you want to do yours chunky, that's fine, but I don't. I just cook mine down. And I just continue on till I get them all peeled and in the pot. I'll do this one, and then I'm gonna close it out and come back when I have them all peeled and cut. All right. I'll be back when I get through peeling all of these. Okay, I have about half of my tomatoes peeled, cored, and chopped up, as you can see. And so now I'm gonna salt these. I'll salt them to taste, and then I'm going to cook them. So just salt them really well. Of course, you don't want to over salt them. These will be ready to eat when I take them out of the jar. So I'm just going to take my hands and work my salt through these. They smell so good. My brother used to love to open a can of jarred tomatoes and just drink them out of the jar. He loved them. He also loved sweet pickles, which I would give him over the years. When I'd make pickles, I'd always share with Lawrence. Okay, let me get a spoon and taste that. I don't think it's going to be enough salt, but let's see. No, I got to add more salt to it. And I'll try it one more time. That's good. I'm going to get these on the stove and start them cooking. And while these are cooking, I will peel and core the rest and chop them up and have them ready to cook when I get through with these. When these finish cooking, I'll go ahead and jar them up. So I will be back at that point, but I'm going to set them over on the stove. Now you do want to stir this while you're cooking it because you don't want them to scorch. You don't want them to stick. That's another reason for using a real heavy pot. So I'm going to start them off and get them heated up, and once they're through boiling, cooking, I'll be back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, my tomatoes have cooked and they are done, and so I'm going to go ahead and take them up. But the first thing I want to do is to skim this foam that's on top of my tomatoes. I'm going to just skim that off. I have my jar lids in boiling water, and I'm doing that in order to soften the rubber seal. I will not process this in a water bath. I cook my tomatoes until they're thoroughly done, and you want them to be boiling when you take them up so that your lids will seal. I have done my tomatoes like this ever since I've been canning, which has been 50 years or better. And I've never had a problem with it. They always keep, but the secret is taking them up while they're very hot. Because if they're not boiling, your lid will not seal, and then they'll spoil. So I'm going to start taking these up. Okay, and now you want to be sure that you wipe the top of your jar. You do not want anything on it. If there's anything on it, it will not seal and you'll lose your tomatoes. So make sure that you wipe them nice and clean. If you don't feel comfortable with doing your tomatoes this way, you can do a water bath. It's not necessary, but if you feel better to do that, you could process it probably in boiling water for about 20 minutes. I never process mine in a water bath. And like I said, I have canned this way for probably 50 years. I started canning when I was married, when I got married and started my family. And I was raised doing this. This is the way my mother always put up tomatoes. Another little tidbit that my mother always did, and so I have always followed suit in what she did, is after I put my lids and rings on my jars, covered them with a towel which holds the heat in, and that also helps to make sure that it seals. You want to put your rings on real tight. Those are very hot. I have another cooking that I have to do, which is probably going to yield out to about the same amount as these. So it's going to be a really good canning. I'm putting all of mine in quart jars. Now, when I was a widow living alone, I would do part of mine in pints so that when I cooked something for myself and eating alone, I wouldn't waste it. But with me being married again, I did it in quarts because it will take quarts to feed Clayton and myself. Okay, all of those, let's see, there's I think 13, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, there's 11, I'm sorry, 11 quarts so far, and I probably will have that many again. So I'm going to place these right here and put a towel over them, and they will start to pop as they seal. Okay, and so I'll just place this towel. That will hold the heat in, and that helps to ensure them sealing. Okay, that concludes this video. The rest of what I'm going to do is what I've already done, so there's no point in extending this any farther. So I don't have a recipe to post below. All you have to do is just follow what I did in the video. Salt your tomatoes according to your taste, and cook them well. Take them up while they're boiling hot, and they should keep very well for you. Until the next time, I'm B-Boss saying, may the Lord bless and keep you and your family safe. Until we see each other again, you have a great day. I hope to see you really soon in another video. Bye.